Hi, thanks for coming. Good to be with you. I'll invite you tonight to begin seated, and we're going to spend a lot of the practice working the upper body and the arms. So if you have blocks available to you, we're going to use those. So make sure you have those with you.
It's Michaela's birthday.
So when you find all the props you need or would like, we'll begin in a seated position. Then I'll invite you to find a little bit of support underneath your sit bones. And when it becomes available to you, you're welcome to soften your eyes either down to the earth or perhaps letting the eyelids close together. And from here, we'll just begin to incorporate all of the senses around us into this experience. Begin to notice how you and your physical body are transitioning to this environment. Start to recognize the pressure between your body and the floor, noticing all the places of the body that are connecting down to this stable and secure place. And beyond your physical body, you might begin to recognize any colors or textures, perhaps sounds or colors within your environment. Begin to observe what is true for you in this space. And as you begin to settle a little bit more deeply into the ground beneath your sit bones, begin to scan your whole body. Taking some time to recognize perhaps the places in your body that are holding on to any tension, perhaps in the shoulders, the face, or maybe throughout the legs and the hips. And as you become aware of these places, notice how you might welcome a little bit more softness and ease into the practice. And when you feel like you have arrived here, we'll begin by finding a little stretch throughout the arms and shoulders. So let's begin by first reaching the arms off to the sides. We're going to press the palms off to the walls. Soften your gaze and then let the shoulders settle down. You might bend the elbows a little bit. And as you invite the palms to find this quality of pressure outward, as if you're touching the walls, you might also begin to lengthen through your spine, finding a little more lift through the entire body. And from here, we're going to interlace our fingers behind our back, keeping the spine tall. Take your hands over to the right hip or the right waist. Invite the right elbow to kind of move inward towards the spine. And when you're ready, begin to tilt the right ear over, the left ear to the left shoulder. You might begin with some gentle movement, drawing the nose down towards your collarbone and perhaps back up towards the sky. And as you are here, welcoming stillness and quiet, see how you might find the deeper layers within your tissues in these movements, softening all of the muscles and sending awareness to the bones, the ligaments, the tendons. We'll find a place to stay still for 5 more breaths, knowing there's no need to force your breath. Simply recognize that you are here and that you are breathing. Slowly, when you are ready, begin to lift the head back up to center, keeping the hands interlaced. Bring them back behind you. Inhale and lift the chest a little bit forward and up. As you exhale, begin to fold forward and down. Coming to a place here for 3 breaths. And at the end of your last breath, begin to lift the whole spine back up to center. Embrace whatever sensations are present in your arms. Carry your hands all the way over to the left hip, the left waist. Rotate the left shoulder back and draw the left elbow inward. Begin now to take the right ear to the right shoulder. And as you stay here, notice if you can draw attention to the sides of the neck, the muscles around the face, and all the way down the arms. And with awareness to these places, you might welcome in the idea of releasing what no longer serves you. You might be still, or you might be tilting your chin down and up, just finding whatever works for you here. One more complete breath, maintaining pressure between the earth with the back of the body. And then slowly lifting the head back to neutral, reaching the arms behind you. Release the bind, and let's carry the arms all the way up over our head, slightly forward. Spread your fingers wide. Imagine as if you're reaching for a piece of fruit off of a blooming tree. And then slowly close your hands, guiding the fingertips to the center. And inhale, reach your fingers back out. Exhale, close your fingers. Inhale, release. And let's just move back and forth between opening and closing. See how you might settle any need to control, and then perhaps open and close your hands a little quicker. Begin to recognize whatever sensations are moving through your arms. And imagine that those sensations are traveling all the way to your heart, pumping a little bit more cleaner, pure blood to the whole body. 10 more times. And then slowly return your hands back down to the floor. And lean your weight over to the left side. Unwind your legs and take your right leg behind you. And we'll find a gentle twist here. So guiding your left foot to the top or so of the back thigh, and then maybe taking a bolster or pillow off to your left. Before we move down to the floor, take your hands to your knees and just find a gentle rock forward and back. You might bring a little bit more movement into the spine by rolling the shoulders forward, tucking the chin, rounding the back, and then lifting your torso, perhaps sending the eyes up. And we'll be here one more round. And then as you feel complete there, take your hands on either side of your support and begin to lower your torso all the way down, finding a supported twist. When you arrive, notice once again all the places of your body that are connecting with the earth. Imagine these places are relaxing even deeper into the comfort and the safety of the ground. And we'll begin to invite in all of the extra sensations into our practice, perhaps the sounds within your space, the feeling of the support under your body, perhaps all the extra thoughts that have been inside of your head. This practice invites us just to arrive with the truest version of ourself in this moment. As you are twisted here, you might stay, or if you'd like, you can begin to take your right arm, bend your elbow, and take the hand somewhere behind the lower back. We'll stay here together for 5 more cycles of your breath, allowing your breath once again to move freely to your whole body, passing through any resistance or any control happening throughout your tissues. And as it passes through this tension, it might find a little bit more ease and space to expand. And if your right arm is behind you, begin to place it back down on the floor. Push your hands into the floor and slowly lift your torso up. When you arrive up, we're going to find that cat cow motion again. Your hands on the floor, push into the floor, and lift your torso up. Roll your shoulders behind you. And then slowly round your spine, finding a little traction in between your vertebrae. You might practice like you're pushing your hands into the floor. And then carry your torso forward and carry your torso back. This time, as you neutralize your spine, lift your right arm, reach it up towards the ceiling, and then rotate your chest up towards the ceiling. Spend a breath here. Then release your hand and sit your body all the way back up. Go ahead and release your legs. Take them out in front of you. You might tap them in between or find a little shaking movement in between your legs. And then shift the feet over to the second side, over to your left. Invite the support over to your right hip. And then here, take a moment to lift your spine and place your hands down on the floor. Carry your body down to whatever support you have there. See if there might be any differences between this side and the other. Do your best to evenly place your body down towards the comfort of the floor and the comfort of the earth. Perhaps you invite the left arm to bend behind your back, only if that feels nourishing here. How might you soften any extra need to control in your physical body and also in your mental body? See how you might release any need to label or judge or analyze what is happening in your head. 3 more breaths, just as you are. Begin to place your left hand back down on the floor. In your own time, slowly start unwinding the shape, pushing the hands into the floor. And then once again, finding a little movement through the spine, lifting the torso, rolling the shoulders back, and rounding the spine, finding space in between each vertebrae. And do that one more time. Release. Lift your body back to center. Guide the legs out in front of you. We'll find a fold forward. We won't be here too long, but I'll invite you to extend the legs in front of you and maybe put a cushion, a pillow, or a few blocks in front of you to rest your body on. And then first start with that gentle movement fluctuating through the spine, rocking the vertebrae back and forth. And when you feel complete, you're welcome to fold forward. Relax any tension in your legs. Let the feet rotate out. And let your head soften down to a support. Here, we're finding a little bit of compression in the back of the legs, the pelvis, and the spine, strengthening the energy that runs along the whole back of the body. Three more quiet breaths. And beginning to find a slow release. Push your hands into the floor and realign your spine. We're going to go ahead and come down to our left side. And we're going to begin to work a little bit more into the ribs and all of the connective tissues under our arms. So find a block. If you don't have a block at home, you can always use a blanket or a book, perhaps. And we're going to begin first with the block all the way long on the flat side, taking it on the side of your ribs. And I like to bend my elbow and kind of just cradle my head in my hand. From here, let's find this slow rocking motion forward and back, forward and back. And go ahead and find a place to stay. See how you might relax the back of your head into your hand, widening the space across your chest. And as you're here, sending awareness to the side of your body and the ribs. Allow all the other places of your body to melt down into the support of the ground, letting go of any need to embrace. And begin now to take your right arm up and over your ear. Keeping the arm relaxed, you can let the arm kind of just dangle over your head. As you breathe, begin to recognize the expansion, perhaps the pressure in your body, pressing down into the block, and then releasing from the block. Three more breaths, just as you are. If it's useful to you, you might spend this time kind of rubbing the back of your neck or finding any sticky places behind your ears. Just knowing that you're always welcome to find this loving touch throughout the time we spend together and the time you spend on your own mat. And slowly return your hand back down to the floor. And begin to lift your torso up. Remove the block and come all the way down onto your belly. When you come flat, spend a moment just evenly placing your whole body. Push your hands by your ribs and find a little engagement in your core and your abdomen. Push into the floor and find a gentle cobra, Bhujangasana. We'll roll our shoulders back and send the front of the body forward. One whole breath. And then exhale, return the torso down to the floor. Push into the floor and sit the body up all the way back to child's pose. Finding whatever support you like in this shape. Tonight, I'm not going to use any support, but rather wrap my hands back towards my feet and tuck my chin a little bit more. If you have begun to witness the mind, maybe thinking or moving away from this practice of yin,
You might welcome it back by focusing on your senses, inviting all your senses into awareness, letting all of your senses move completely through your whole body. And if it is useful to you here, part your lips. So imagine you're drinking through a straw or whistling to a friend. And we'll inhale through our lips and exhale through our lips. You might even make a little bit of sound. Do that one more time. Inhale through your lips here. This time, close your mouth and exhale through your nose. And we'll do that 2 more times. Opening your lips, inhale, close, exhale. One more whole round. And when you feel complete, release your arms, transition your body up into all fours. Go ahead and tuck your toes, and we'll just shift our weight back to our heels, stretching the back of the feet a little bit. Bring your torso forward. And let's just find some more movement before we move over to the second side. Reach your right arm out in front of you and your left leg behind you. Keep your toes on the floor. Take a moment here to reach through the whole body. Evenly push in towards the mat. And then release, hand release your knee. Switch sides, left leg forward, right leg back. Lengthen your whole spine and then release. Sit your weight back and you can begin to reach your legs over to the right, the left, I think, for you. And we're gonna take the block under our right side now, under the right ribs. Letting the elbow bend and the head relaxing in the hand. Send attention to all of the spaces in between your ribs and behind your shoulders. You can stay still or find some loving touch to the back of the neck or behind the ear. Or if you'd like to stay still, you're welcome to kind of rest the top arm over your head. Lean your weight back a touch and notice how you might release throughout the front of the body.
3 more even breaths. And very gently releasing the shape, pushing your hands into the floor, removing the block, and coming all the way down onto your belly. Evenly place your whole body and then bend your knees and sway your feet back and forth. Naming all the places in your own body that are touching the earth. Go ahead and release the shape. And we'll find a little more focus on the inside of the thighs by reaching the right leg off to the side and bending the knee. Now, this can be a lot, so you're welcome to find a blanket under the thigh for a little more cushion. Here we'll send our attention now down to the lower half of our physical body, seeing how we might invite the breath to the edges of all of the places of sensation. Recognize that you are breathing here and recognize that you are safe. And then after one more complete breath cycle, return the leg back behind you, pause, and observe any difference between sides. Bend your right knee now and reach your right arm back behind you, almost as if you're going to reach for the foot. We're not going to find any contact yet, but let's imagine we're rolling the right shoulder back and spreading the palm wide. From here, you're welcome to find a connection of your foot if it's available to you. If not, and you have a towel or a scarf or a strap at home, that can always be a helpful tool here. And when you arrive, soften wherever you might be holding on, then return to the pattern of your breath. Release the connection between the hand and foot and
Slowly begin to transition over to the left side. So your left knee will bend off to the side over to a blanket. Soften the forehead. And then evenly place the front of your body. You might shift back and forth a little bit before you settle into a place of stillness. Once again, begin to check in with what is true for you in this present moment. One more complete breath. And very gently, like you're moving through water, return the body back evenly onto the mat and bend your left leg, reach your left hand back. First, spiral the palm inward and roll the shoulder away from your neck. Perhaps find a connection with your foot and spend some time here, softening the whole body, relaxing any tension in the back of the legs and the glutes, the lower back. Stay here for 3 more natural breaths. And releasing the connection between your hand and foot, finding a neutral position. Here, we'll begin to push the forearms into the mat, taking the hands out in front of us, finding a little bit of a back bend in the lower body. I like tonight to place a blanket under the ribs. You might relax your legs a little bit wider. Begin to lower the ribs down into the mat. And if it's useful to you tonight, you might put a block or a pillow underneath of the forehead to release any additional strain there. Wherever you choose to be in this practice, return attention to the rhythm and quality of your breath. Perhaps sending the quality of the breath, this pure new opportunity, to all the places in the body that are having a little bit of trouble, having more trouble to relax. Letting the power of the breath naturally and kindly release any tension. One more cycle of breath. And begin to return your body back down to the mat, taking a moment to recalibrate. Push into the floor. Begin to find a seated position. Knowing there's no rush, you're welcome to find any movement here. So, in your seated position, take a little bit of elevation beneath your hips. Take your soles of the feet out and together, letting your knees relax out a little bit. And then find this movement throughout the spine, tucking the chin, rounding the back, and then lifting the torso forward, broadening the front of the body. Forward and back, forward and back. Pause here. Return the spine to neutral. Reach your arms above you. Open your hands and close your hands. Open, close, open, close. Begin to move as quickly as you can. Sensing any gripping or bracing between your shoulders and along your back. Recognizing that as okay, letting it be there, and then letting it pass. A few more times. Reach your arms up, and then begin to fold your body forward. Just finding the slightest of sensation tonight and working with the natural rhythm of your body. Check in with how your physical body is feeling. Check back in with how the breath might be moving across your body, recognizing any textures or sensations that are unique to you and your practice. One more deep inhale here. Fill up the whole body with breath. And then finding that formation in your lips like you're whistling or drinking through a straw, breathe out. Beautiful. Release the body. Take your knees back together and come onto your back. And on our back, we're going to find a little bit of a back bend. So roll up a blanket and place the blanket beneath your scapula, so beneath your shoulder blades and on this lower part of your ribs. There, your arms will drape over the blanket. Yeah. And your legs can extend long in front of you or stay bent. You can choose. Here, we're finding a little bit of focus on the front of the body. With the arms over our head, the whole body is finding this open, spacious shape. And as you're here, you might adjust, bending your knees or releasing your arms at any point. Five more relaxing breaths, sensing any places that are holding on that don't need to be here. Bringing your whole body into the most nurturing, allowing shape. And when you are complete, begin to bend your knees, shift your body over to either side, and release the blanket. Make your way all the way flat onto the mat. Begin to draw your knees into your chest. Squeeze your knees, find a little bit of pressure along the back of your body. And here, see how you might isolate the movement to one quadrant of the back of your body. So imagine both hip points and both shoulder blades are connected and making this long rectangle. So begin to shift your weight over to your left hip, isolating weight there. Take the weight over to your right hip And then draw the weight up to your right shoulder blade. Can you kind of lift your hips off the floor and send a little bit of pressure to the upper right quadrant? And neutralize the back and send weight over to the left quadrant, the left shoulder. And then move in a complete square 2 more times. And when you are complete, lower the feet off of the mat, wider than your mat. Open your arms off to the sides and twist your knees over to the right, finding a supine twist. Something that might feel useful to you is placing a blanket or a little bit of weight over your abdomen. And that might find a little bit more relaxation in the body. Here on your back, you might be observing any colors or shapes in your environment. Perhaps draw attention back to the quality of breath, traveling in through your nose and out through your nose. And begin to sense the temperature of this breath. Perhaps you sense the cool air moving in through your nose, moving through your body, and then perhaps releasing a warmer air. Inhale and begin to release your knees through the midline and shift them over to the left. Here, I'll invite you to imagine the whole body to be heavy, to be comforted and protected by the energy below. Letting go of any extra need to control or force. Release your knees back through center. Perhaps you make any final movements or adjustments before coming into your final relaxation position. Knowing that can be whatever you would like, maybe on your back, your side, perhaps sitting up. Take your time and evenly place your body on the ground.
For these last few moments, begin to soften your eyes, drawing intention to all the places that live inside of you. Inviting relaxation to your whole body. Scan the whole body, inviting softness now to your head, softness to your face and your jaw. Welcoming the throat and the top of the shoulders to settle into stillness, and sending this stillness down your arms, throughout your ribs, along the length of your abdomen, moving down to the lower part of your body, evenly moving to each hip and down each leg until softness moves throughout the whole body and out through the soles of the feet. Hmm. As your mind might begin to wander away, slowly welcome it back to the safety and the quality of your breath, welcoming the breath to the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. And from here, I'll invite you to guide all of your attention back to the space around you, starting with the room that you are in and bringing awareness closer to your body. Begin now to reawaken your physical body, opening and closing your hands, maybe swaying your hips back and forth. Finding some time to readjust, taking note of what might have changed in your body or in your brain. And from there, slowly sit your body back up at the top of your mat. And when you arrive seated, invite the hands somewhere over the chest space. And we'll rest in this shape for a few moments, perhaps sending a token of gratitude out into the world for this practice. Perhaps sending gratitude out to those who nurture you and those who keep you safe. And perhaps sending gratitude to yourself. I thank you for joining me today and breathing together. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you and namaste.
Hi, Mama. Oh, I'm sorry, you're muted. Hold on, let me unmute you. It's so mean to mute you. She's so cute. She's looking for the.
Oh, unmute. Thank you, Michala.
It's her birthday today.
Michaela's birthday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah. Was the sound okay tonight, Mama?
Yes, it was perfect.
Excellent. I'm so glad. Thanks for sharing me in with me tonight, Mom.
Oh, I enjoyed it very much. Good class.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night, Mama.
Good night.
Bye.
I have to look for leave.